Hey friends, it's good to see you. It is time for our class. We are going to talk about reversals. This is not our first reversals workshop. We do them pretty regularly here on YouTube and in person and pretty much wherever I go because reversals is a really important thing for us to talk about. And I think you will find in our time together today, whether you're here with us live right now or whether you're watching the replay, I think you will gain some new perspective. And whether or not you use reversals now, whether or not you choose to use reversals in the future, I think you're going to learn a lot about the ways that tarot can speak to us and the ways that reversals can help us understand that. And if you don't want to use reversals, other ways to find those deeper meanings. So I am grateful to all of you for being here. Thank you to those of you who are chiming in and letting us know where you are and what deck you're using. I really appreciate that. That is something that I ask everyone to do at Global Tarot Circle, which we are doing next week. The link is already up. But I appreciate it if you do it at every class. So thank you very much for that. All right. And of course, a special shout out to the members and the moderators. And big thanks to Lisa Harmon for starting us off with a super sticker. Lisa, thank you for being a member. Thank you for being here. Thank you for reminding people to like this video. Y'all, please do that. And thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. All right, let's get going. And the first thing that I'm going to want to ask you is, do you have reversals in your tarot practice? Are reversals, what am I seeing? Oh, okay. I'm like, when I get shrunken into the little head square, I'm like looking and I'm like, what am I seeing there? And it's actually just one of the little holiday baubles there. But I was like, is there something there? Well, what is that? Anyway, just being distracted. What I want to know is, when you do readings, do you have reversals in your practice? And if so, do you have a comment about that? Is there something you want to say about that? Do you not use reversals? And if so, why? Like, what is your relationship with tarot reversals? That's what I would like to know. Ben says, hell yes. And had said earlier that like me, Ben and I are both real proponents of reversals. We really are. Christina, no, I don't use reversals. Kathy, it feels overwhelming. I've not made the leap to reversals yet. So that suggests that you might want to. And Dina, I am very intuitive about reversals. I use them most of the time. I love that. That is such a good answer because I think we always need to feel like we have permission at the tarot table to, do whatever we're going to do, whatever feels right. And intuition has to be a part of that. Okay, Diana, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being here. I do, but I struggle with them. Can you tell me more about that? In what way do you struggle? What is that struggle like? Audrey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I try not to have reversals. Why? I want words on that. Why? Why would you not want reversals? This is going to start us off in a really good way. Why would you not want reversals? Sarah, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Yes, but when I first started, I didn't worry about reversals, but I always knew I would get there once I felt sure footing with the cards right side up. And that is a very legitimate way of learning and teaching the cards, is learn them all right side up and then incorporate reversals. That's a very legit way to do it. Betty Fleischer, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I'm reading reversals now. I waited until I was comfortable with the upright, and I'm loving it thanks to you. Well, thank you so much. And I know this is not the first reversals class that you've taken with me. And so there's 2 votes right now for if you're new, just work with the right side up cards and then incorporate reversals over time. We've got 2 people saying that's a good idea. Diana, thank you so much for being here and thanks for being a member. We really appreciate you. I didn't used to because it felt the cards to have the potential to go either way, depending on how you manifest it. Interesting. Kimmy's Divination Station, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a member. I've started reading reversals when the artist intention was for them. Perfect. And that, that breaks us out into this whole conversation about tarot traditions, recognizing that there are really 3 basic tarot traditions, Waite, Crowley, and Marseille. And the only one that I know with a clear tradition for reading reversals would be Waite. So anything that's Waite based, right? Yep. No, George, we are not. We might later on do some readings, but this is a class. And so if we do readings, it'll just be as part of the class. Audrey M., because I don't feel positive about them upside down as yet. That's what I'm going to hope to fix. Thank you so much for that. That makes me feel really good. Diana, thanks for more words. I just go blank on reversals sometimes. I don't know them as well as upright, and I don't want to just make the meanings the opposite. Exactly. Well done. Yes. Right. Betty, my struggle is if a reversal has an opposite meaning or just a bit different. Christina, well, the way I shuffle doesn't encourage reversals. And Betty, Christina, thank you so much for being members. We really appreciate you. The way I shuffle doesn't encourage reversals, and I know reversals aren't opposite of the upright meaning. Well, they can be. They're just not always. I don't have any other excuse, and you don't really need an excuse. I'm just curious. Okay, Dina, I like to do the tarot spell and turn right side intentionally where needed. Yes, we're going to teach that today. And you can also, turn right side where needed. You could also reverse something where needed. I wouldn't really choose to reverse either of these cards, but you could, and we'll talk about that. Melissa, so good to see you. Thanks for being a member. I like reversals. Depending on the deck and the artist's particular interpretation, sometimes reversals are interpreted as the opposite of the upright card. Yeah, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, yes, absolutely. That is a possibility. Angelic Michelle, we haven't seen you in so long. So happy to see you. And so Melissa, so curious as to your thoughts on this. Oh, you will get my thoughts, my friend. You will get my thoughts. Peggy Lou, thanks for being a member. Thanks to you, I started using reversals. Jean Mnuchin, thanks for being a member. I still feel worried when I get some reversals depending on the card. Yeah, some people are like, that's a lot of reversals. Should I be worried? Right? Lisa Harmon, I get confused a lot by reversals. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. All right, so I am going to share with you my relationship with reversals. This may not be your relationship. It may not be appealing to you, and that is perfectly okay. Tarot is not one size fits all, and there are no tarot police. The only times that I get really pissy about sort of how we talk about reversals in the community, like I don't care if you use reversals or not. Am I an evangelist for it? I mean, for me, I think it's the laziest way to read tarot, and I'm a typically lazy person, so anything I can use to make it easier, I'm going to do. But if that's not where you're at, or if you're more a Crowley-based reader, that's okay. But in this class, we're going to talk about, well, if you don't do reversals, then what else are you doing to get that nuance? And the questions that you have brought up are perfect questions. And so here I am working with the Wiser Tarot. And Dina says, Wiser Tarot. So I've gone through 3 copies of this so far. And have I even read the book once? No, I have not. I'm so bad. And Dina, you're so good. Thank you for sharing this. Wiser Tarot says reversals underscore the message. And I like that. Like the 9 of Cups is really very lucky. So, you know, any book you read is going to give you a different way of doing it. And so you can just take what you like and leave the rest. Now, I want you to notice, okay, I love reversals. Okay, here's the thing. I am a very operational tarot reader. I am a professional reader. It is possible if I'm working a party after a full day of readings in the office, it is possible that there are days where I do upwards of 50 readings in a day. Professional readings that each have to be as good as the last. So for me, reversals just give me one more thing to make it easier. And so I shuffle to invite reversals. Now, Christina, opposite of me, Christina shuffles to avoid reversals, and that's fine. But here's what I do to get reversals, okay? Chunk. Do you see that? Now I've just flipped half the deck. Shuffle. And if you're not someone who wants to riffle and bridge your cards, and I would understand why you wouldn't, you don't have to, but you can still do that cut and half turn and then hand over hand. And it's still going to do the same thing. So if you're interested in like giving reversals opportunity to show up, that's how you do it. And I know there are people who will like take a certain number of cards out of the deck before they use it and reverse those. That's a really interesting technique that I have no affinity for whatsoever. I feel like it should be random. So, Christina, yes, I would think it would depend on the deck. Some cardstock are too thick. You are so right. And that is part of like what will, like people ask me like what creates a workhorse deck for you? A workhorse deck has to be able to be shuffled roughly by me. Can't have the beautiful gilded edges because I'm just going to wear that crap off in 3 months. And has to stand up to shuffling. Can't like, you know, fall apart in the first month. But also can't be so thick that you can't shuffle. So yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And I do have some decks that are like collector's decks that I love that I do not do this with. I only do this with cards I plan on replacing when they wear out. But those are the decks I'm going to work with professionally, and that's, you know, that's what it is. All right. So that's how I get reversals. Now, let's go. I'm just going to go back to full face for a minute and just talk with you a little bit about my theories around reversals and how I see it. And I would love to hear what you have to say as well about all of this. I'm just going through and making sure I see everyone here. Hey, Jenny, hope you're feeling better. How are you doing? All right. So, and Smile Soul 20, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you especially to the members. All right. Betty says, people that don't read reversals say they look at surrounding cards for the shadow side of a card. I don't love that wording, but I would certainly say that whether or not you read reversals, the surrounding cards will provide context. And that's going to be true with or without reversals, and I will show you some examples of that. That is absolutely true. All right. So here's how I see it. I do feel like in the minor arcana, certain numbers, when reversed, will do different things. Like, for example, when you see an ace reversed, that's either like that to me can really be like an opposite, or like if the ace of wands is like big energy, when the ace of wands is reversed, I'm like, are you feeling okay? When the ace of pentacles is upright, it's that new job, it's that vigorous health. When it's reversed, I'm like, do you need a new job? Did you quit your job? Are you not feeling your best? So I think sometimes we can look at, well, let me go back. A couple of people have mentioned that reversals can be opposites. But what else can they be? Reversals can put something in the past. Reversals can put something in the future. Reversals can say that we are resistant to something. Reversals can lessen the energy of something. Reversals can intensify the energy of something. Now, I like it better this way. I like giving reversals a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things. This is where I don't love the wiser thing, where a reversal will always intensify. I don't love the concept that a reversal is always an opposite. Might it be those things? Absolutely, yes, but it can be so many other things too. It can be an indication to avoid this. Should I do this? No, maybe don't do that thing, right? It could be that. Hey, Margot Early, so good to see you. It's okay that you don't do reversals yet. I bet you'll hear something today, whether or not you choose to do reversals. I bet you'll hear something today that will help you on your journey. Dina Moskowitz, Ace of Wands, thumbs down. Justine, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. Still listening. I started using reversals, and I will end with using reversals. They provide nuanced information, and that is invaluable in my opinion. But I am an overthinker, so there are times when I confuse myself when I think too hard about it. I am going to give you a remedy for that. So what I am inviting all of you to do is tell me your reversal thoughts, your reversal woes, and that just makes my job so easy, because that's all the stuff I wanted to talk about. Dina, tarot can be so literal. I picked a card this evening instead of in the morning, and I got the sun reversed, like nighttime. Duh, I love that. That's hilarious. Right. Diana, I absolutely agree with this, and thanks again for being a member. Reversal of cards like the Tower or the Ten of Swords can be putting it behind you or turning things around. Things are getting better, or maybe it won't be as bad as you thought. Yeah. And that's why, I really sometimes a reversal can lessen the energy, sometimes it can intensify it. Okay, Sarah, thank you so much for being a member. We appreciate you. Just like how uprights have many meanings. This is why I love you, Sarah. Yay, so good. Just like how uprights have many meanings, reversals can't be pigeonholed into meaning the opposite. Reversals are just as deep and multi-layered as upright, in my opinion. Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Teresa, reversals give me some anxiety. You're not alone, but can you tell us why? Tonight, I know it's hard. I get to talk and you get to chat. I know that's not easy and not fair. But the more words you can use, I think the more helpful it will be for people. Sherry Bowden, good to see you. I get confused because sometimes reversal cards can bring positivity to the situation. Absolutely. Absolutely. But why is that confusing? Explain to me why that's confusing. I would love to know. Betty Flesher, Seven of Pentacles, for example. Be patient, hard work pays off. Is the reversal no patience or giving up on something or procrastination? Could be any of it. Could be any of that. And that goes back to what Sarah was saying. It's going to depend. Just like in any reading, any tarot card can really mean anything. Same with a reversal. Hey, Horse Fan Dunn, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Adina, how would you look at the Fool reverse? So, again, depending on the context, The Fool reversed might be like you're being a stick in the mud and choosing not to have fun. So get your head out of your ass and start having fun. The Fool reversed might be even like the opposite of what I just said. And like you are engaged in some really risky behavior. So be careful about your risky behavior. The Fool reverse could be fear of your journey or not acknowledging your journey. Diana, reversals are perceived as hard because it's doubling the amount of cards you have to learn if you treat them as more than simply opposites. Oh, God, thank you so much for saying that. Thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you that 10 years ago, I would have said the same thing. Yeah, maybe 15 years ago, I would have said the same thing. Now I disagree. I don't think we're learning a whole set of other card meanings, although that is a way to do it if you want. You can. I think there's a technique that we can use that avoids that if you want to avoid that. Gianna, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I find I want a straightforward reading, and reversals don't make me feel like there's a straightforward message. Why not? Why not? This is where, okay, back to card cam we go. Why not? For example, I'm going to give you potential straightforward messages from reversals. Just, just playing, just hypothetical. Nine of Swords reversed. Here's your straightforward message. It's not as bad as you think. How is that not a straightforward message? Let me do another one. Six of Swords reversed. You are stuck right now, and you are probably stuck in your emotions. Use your logic to get out of that stuckness. Straightforward message. There it is. Gianna, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Okay, and yes, I am very happy for you all. If you have cards that you are stuck on, like, what would you do with this reversed? As some of you are already doing, go ahead and I'll let you know. Diana Price, the Fool reverse. Don't step off the cliff, right? Sherry Bowden, Seven of Swords reversed. Y'all know the Seven of Swords reversed, the Thieves card. This is a really fun one. Okay, so let's go with upright first. When I see the Seven of Swords upright, very often I'm going to say it's going to be an issue of trust. Either someone is not being trustworthy with you, you're not being trustworthy with someone, there's someone you're not trusting, whether or not they have done anything bad, but you're not trusting them. Or maybe you're not trusting yourself. Or maybe you think that someone isn't trusting you, but somehow it's going to be about trust, right? Reversed. I think that person stole something from me. Did they? No, they did not. What is the best way for me to approach this situation? Honestly, tell the truth. Is this situation trustworthy? Yes. Is this situation trustworthy? No. So is this an opposite for me? Very often, yes. Very often, yes. And in all cases, it is a question of trust, right? No matter where we're going on this spectrum, it's a question of trust. Here, it's more likely that we're not trusting. Here, it is more likely that we could trust or that there is something trustworthy there, if that makes sense. All right. Science Giant, you said the best thing about the sun reversed a few weeks ago. What was it? You tell you tell everyone you're doing fine. Science Giant, so good to see you. Hey, in fact, if you got my newsletter today, you will see that I featured the Giant's Forge on Etsy. Go there, go to Etsy and find the Giant's Forge. This guy makes some amazing stuff. He will be an exhibitor and presenter at StaarCon. And so good, so good. My keychain is from Science Giant right now. Science Giant, but fine, feeling inside, no negative emotions. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at the sun and the sun reverse. Let me see if I can find it. It's so much more fun to be able to illustrate it with the card when I can. The sun is hiding from me. What does it mean that I could find the Seven of Swords right away and the sun is hiding? I'm not sure I love that. The sun? Where did the sun go? I do not know. Ha! Got you. All right. Okay, so when I see the sun upright. Hey, Bianca, good to see you. When I see the sun upright, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to think about happiness, positivity, confidence, letting your light shine. Don't be afraid to shine. Once in a while, I'm going to think about narcissism. But mostly, I'm going to think about being bold, being fearless, being happy, being confident. When it's reversed, I think it can be that situation where, you're okay, but you're not really okay, and you tell everybody you're okay. But on the inside, you got some stuff going on, but it's not that bad, and you're not going to show it. It can be that. It could also be where you're happy, but there's not, there's still something missing. It could also be that someone is taking away your shine. I see this a lot in relationships where one partner is really dominating the other and like only one person is allowed to be successful. For the person who's not allowed to be successful, I see this. They're still happy in the relationship, but they wish they could shine a little more. So this is a really good example of, it's not for me like opposite, it's like just a little different, All right. Diana, yeah, well, it also depends on the context. Reading cards is so hard because it isn't exact. And that's where intuition comes in. And I think it was Dina that mentioned intuition. I think it is so important to use intuition, especially with reversals. How are you feeling about it? That's a really good question. Betty Flesher, the moon card is my card that is doing my head in reversed mental illness. I don't know what you're asking there. I am so sorry. I'm not getting it. But I'm going to find that moon. So when you explain it to me, I will be ready to talk about it. Oh, interesting, Bianca. You can see the sun reversed as ego or childlike tantrum behavior or infertility. I could see all of that. Oh, science giant, don't steal my sunshine. Yeah, exactly. Don't rain on my parade. Yeah, all of that. And, honestly, the sun can be a weather indicator. How will the weather be on the day of my outdoor event? Perfect? Bring an umbrella. It can be that simple, right? Right? Okay. Okay. Who's next? Melissa. Judgment reversed and the world reversed. What's your take on these? Yes. While I'm finding them, let me drop some cards on the floor. You'll enjoy that. Okay. While I'm finding them, let me talk a little bit about my basic theory around all of this, whether you read reversals or not. I believe that the meaning of a tarot card exists on a spectrum. In the very middle of the spectrum is going to be like your most obvious meaning for the card. So like sun, happiness, right? Or whatever it is for you. We may have different keywords or whatever, but that, your most direct, obvious one, that's in the middle. And so then we go to either side of the spectrum, and on one side of the spectrum is avoid, in the past, don't like. And at some point there, we have an opposite. And then on the other side of the spectrum, it's in the future. We're working toward it. We need it. So So a reversal just means you don't want to read the most direct meaning of the card. So you've got your most direct meaning, and then you're just going to play with it. You're going to play with, how do we wiggle this a little to get it off its most direct meaning, and where does that take you? That's the process as I see it. Okay, I was looking, can I do two things at once? Apparently I cannot. I was looking for the, right, Diana, the Chariot reverse car trouble, absolutely. Moon is so confusing to me. Can its reversed be mental illness? Honestly, the moon can be, like, I would more often see mental illness this way, upright, and healing from mental illness reversed is more where I would go with it. More, okay, let me do all the things that I can possibly think of in just a quick second with the moon and moon reversals. Okay, moon. You got a lot of mysteries here. There's a lot that you don't understand. There's a lot of confusion. Moon reversed. Looks like you are solving those mysteries. Looks like you are finding those answers. You will solve those mysteries. You will look for those answers. You should solve those mysteries. You should look for those answers. Notice the difference was subtle, just the difference between will and should. It's nuanced, but it makes a difference. Okay. You should really pay attention to your dreams, your sleeping dreams, and interpret them. Have you been having disturbing dreams at all? Do you remember your dreams? You know, I just want to dig into that more. It is a really good time for you to explore your spiritual beliefs, your spiritual power, your spiritual path. It looks like you've been ignoring spirituality completely. This is a good time to use magic for healing. It looks like you're contemplating using magic for something that is not good. Okay? Okay. Okay, let me go back. Okay, hang on a minute. We are still looking for, thank you everyone for participating. We are still looking for judgment and the world. And thank you all so much for participating. We may not get to every card request, but we'll do as many as we can. And the hope is not so much that you're going to copy down what I say, and unless you really like it. My hope is you'll get a sense of the idea that this is very fluid and very intuitive and very contextual. And that's all it ever has to be. And I was talking earlier about the numbers, you know, like it's possible that I will see like the 9s reversed may feel different than the 7s reversed or something like that. So just pay attention to that and see if there's any truth to that for you. Oh no, this is it. Here we go. Okay. Now, you notice that the way I like to talk about it is I will talk about the upright cards first and then the reversal. This is the trick to avoid not being confused by reversals. Once you've been doing it for a long time, you won't necessarily need to do this. But if you are puzzled by a reversal, think about what it means to you upright first. Look at what it means upright first, then think about the reversal and think about it again in the context of the other cards. So judgment for me very often is about closure, getting closure to the past, letting go of what does not serve you. The final analysis, looking to the past to see that you have done a good job and now being open for something new or something more. It can also be mediumship, listening to the voice of the angels, a wake-up call, a call to awaken the sleeping hero. And in business, it's a sign that you need to advertise more. Reversed. This is like you really need closure. So for me, this is like the emphasis. oh my gosh, you need closure. So bad do you need closure. You clearly don't have closure. It can also be you need to listen to the angels. You need to ask your angels for help. You need to open up to that, and you need to not be afraid. So like here, you might need to advertise more. Here, you haven't even started your advertising campaign, right? So it's just a little intensity, just a little different for me. World reversed. I'm going to start with this one. Feels like your world is turned upside down. I mean, very literally, your world is upside down. But when we look at the world upright, we think about completion. We think about attainment, goals reached. We also think about world travel. We think about globalism. We think about international things. And maybe most importantly, we think about taking a bigger view. Seeing the big picture, seeing the macrocosm, not the microcosm. Reversed, you might not be doing that. You need to think about your perspective, right? And it could be worldview. Like we all have a different worldview. So this could be a person who has a different worldview than you do. And it may be that you are being very myopic, so again, you need to see the big picture, but here, good Lord, you really need to see the big picture. So sometimes it's just that emphasis. Once again. All right. Jeannie, I remember you saying that the star reversed is still a positive card. Is it still about healing? What does the reversal mean for the star? Here she is. Okay, so for me, a lot of people see the star having to do with wishes, and I think that's a very Disney thing, like when you wish upon a star. And I recognize that popular culture influences tarot, and I'm okay with that. But I will tell you that the concept of hope and wishes and getting your wishes fulfilled, that is a part of how I see this card. But the concept of fulfillment, not so much of, oh, I wished for it and now I got it. I know that's it for a lot of people. For me, I'm like, no, man, full on fulfillment. The best cake I've ever eaten, the best sex I've ever had, oh my gosh, the best concert ever. That kind of thing, just that big on, full, just oh my gosh, the best. That has been in a lot of ways my personal take on the star. But also, yes, healing. Why is it healing? Because this is an actual star descended to earth, pouring heaven's healing light onto the earth. And so there's this sense of abundance, there is enough healing energy. Whatever you need, it's here for you. There is enough. So there is just this sense of the abundance of healing energy. When it's reversed, what I would often say is there's a way where you're not satisfied, where you're not fulfilled. In a couples reading, I would want to know what's going on in the bedroom. Not specifically. No one needs to show me pictures or tell me that story. But in broad terms, because someone is not entirely happy in the bedroom if this is about a relationship. It can be the need for healing. It can be not knowing how to access healing. It can be even not knowing what you want. Here, it's all available for you. Here, I think it's still available, but you may have to want it more or think about it more or be more aware of it, if that makes sense. Okay. Bianca Tarot, court cards reversed just represent people with major character flaws to me. I can certainly see it that way. When I see the court cards as people, which is not always, obviously, but I would say that the court cards upright are bringing the best of their element. When they're reversed, they are not bringing the best of their element, right? Oh, I love that. Dina, world reversed, think local. That's good. That's good. Lisa Harmon, thanks for being a member. The Chariot. When I first started learning tarot, I couldn't relate to the Chariot. I still have problems with the Chariot reversed. So, I was doing a reading for someone who knows the cards, and the Chariot reversed came up in a very prominent position. And of course, right away, just being the smart ass that I am, right away, I'm going to be like, car problems? Because that can be an issue, But no, there were no car issues, and it wasn't really expected that there would be. And what she said, and I really liked it, she said, for me, when the Chariot is reversed, I'm not in control. So when we think of the Chariot, yes, it can be a car, travel, transportation, but it can also be opposites in union moving forward. It can be forward motion, agency, being in the driver's seat. You get to choose. Mastery. Reversed. Obviously, the canceled trip, the car issue, issues with travel and transportation, of course. But also, as the person I was reading for was saying, feeling out of control. I have no control here. I am not in the driver's seat, essentially. So here I think we really are seeing a potential opposite or breakdown of the upright. Bianca, one time Chariot flew reversed during a reading for my sister, and it was about her car issues. She had spent the whole day getting it fixed. Yep. Gianna, the Chariot upright makes me think of alignment and knowing what you are and what you are not. Sure. But there is still that forward motion and the fact that it's a vehicle. And it's one of the things I love about tarot is how tarot is constantly changing to meet us where we are. So like cars in our society are so freaking important. Without a car, you may be lost depending on where you live. And so that's really important in our lives. Now, when esoteric tarot first came to be, no, it wasn't. But there's a card that delivers that now, right? Okay. And Diana, regarding the court cards reversed, when they're not people, I can see it as like a resistance to do the things that the court cards are telling you to do, or a sense that you really need to do those things, or a sense of how you're feeling. Like if it's the Queen of Cups reversed, it might be depression, and that might be depression in anybody of any age or gender, because it's just a feeling. We're not nurturing our emotional well-being right now. Queen of Cups reversed, right? Angelic Michelle, I'm really enjoying this. Thank you so much. Dina, reverse Chariot. Imagine the reins falling away from the driver, right? Okay. Did you know that some of our favorite StaarCon exhibitors are on Etsy? I see you actually read the newsletter, Science Giant. Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow at noon for a newsletter recap right here on YouTube. Lisa Harmon, as a fair-skinned redhead, yes. Sun reversed, sunburn. Oh my gosh, yes. Technique question from Science Giant. Hang on a minute. I saw it, and then I lost it. Do you turn... Oh, Science Giant. Here it is. He wants to know if I flip a card this way or this way. And I will tell you, first of all, as a teacher, I really teach people to do it this way, like a book. I do it this way, like a book. I cringe a little bit when I see people do this, but a lot of people like it because it's a beautiful flourish. So if you do it that way, always do it that way because it creates a reversal. All right. Oh, perfect. Yes. Yes. Dina, sometimes I think of what is falling or emptying, like cups or swords falling out of the Three of Cups. What is happening in the image? Exactly. Like this is obviously better because now the swords can come out. Literally looking at what's happening in the picture when you turn it upside down. Turn the Hanged Man upside down and now he's dancing. That matters too, right? Justine. What about the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Wands and the Magician reversed? Been coming up so much, it's been confusing me lately. You think that'd be the most obvious one. Sometimes like it's telling me I can't do it or I shouldn't do it. Okay, so, okay. 9 and 10 of Wands and Magician reversed. So for me, like the Magician is so much about communication. When I see the Magician reversed, the first thing I think about is poor communication, bad communication, communication that can't be trusted. When I think about the Magician, okay, what do I think about? Communication, schooling, the open mind, the use of tools, skills, and ability. Reversed, you may not know what your tools, skills, and ability are, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a communication breakdown. Or it's going to be your mind is not open to what it needs to be open to. Or it's going to be you're struggling with school. You want to go to school, but you can't. Or you're in school and you don't want to be. Or you're in school, but it's not going well. Something like that. Those 2 Wands cards. You know, it's interesting. Believe it or not, with both the 9 and 10 of Wands, when they're reversed, there's an element of friendship there for me. Do you believe that? It's a little weird, I know. Okay. So 9 of Wands, we have this wounded warrior. He's perhaps hypervigilant. Perhaps he needs to be there. Perhaps he doesn't. But right now, he is just standing there doing what he needs to do. Here, I feel like his friends might come and give him some relief so they'll stand guard and he can go home and heal. Like he doesn't have to just do this all on his own. He can heal. He doesn't have to be so vigilant. So when I see this reverse, it's like you don't have to be so vigilant. You can reverse. You have friends who can help. Justine, Wands are social. It makes sense. Yep. So 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands for me can be like the hard project that's almost finished. It can be the burdens you're carrying that you shouldn't carry alone. The burdens you're carrying that you don't need to carry at all. The things that you are doing that are not your responsibility. Reversed, there's a sense of either you're going to put those burdens down, you're going to change that, and or your friends will come help you. So, like that. Okay, Christina, Moon, subconscious versus conscious. Subconscious versus conscious. You know, like the High Priestess and the Moon are so connected. I really see her as the card of the subconscious. But the Moon is certainly, wandering around in all kinds of liminal space and craziness. And there is certainly, so could it be subconscious versus conscious this way? Yeah, it could be. Absolutely, yes. Okay. The 9 of Swords reversed is like a 6 of Swords. Yeah, it could be. Absolutely. And that's an interesting thing. When you see cards reversed, then become like other cards. So that is very interesting. And let's talk for a minute about context. Okay? And how if we didn't use reversals, if we're just on the spectrum of a card, and understand that when we're reading the spectrum of a card, the word is called dignity or aspect. We're looking at the dignity or the aspect of the card. Is the card well dignified or ill dignified, well aspected or poorly aspected? And that can be this. There are many other ways of determining this, including elemental dignities, which is something I don't do. Not for any particular reason, just because I never learned it. But if you read with Crowley, you really do need to learn elemental dignities, I understand. But let's take a look at this. So suppose you don't read reversals. And this goes back to that earlier question of like, well, you look to the other cards, right? Well, suppose we had this, but it was surrounded by these cards. And that was your reading. Don't these cards kind of do this for you? Even if this isn't this way, don't they do that for you? Yeah? Now suppose instead of this, we had this. That makes this a more in its darkness, doesn't it? Where that healing is really going to be very necessary. So we're going to feel it differently. And so that's how we look at the surrounding cards to think about, you know, where on the spectrum is this card falling? Okay. Let's see. Kimmy's Divination Station. People looking away or toward each other is possible with reversals as well. And that's really important. Like, okay, so like these two people are communicating. But if I'm reading for someone, say she comes in and she's having problems with her kid, we're going to say, ooh, well, now we're not. Well, we're looking in the same direction because we want the same thing, but we're not really communicating, right? So it changes. That's good. That's good. Justine, wow, just realized it seems like the 9 of 10 reversed have similar dignity to the 9 of 10 of swords reversed with their shared polarity. Makes sense. That's what I'm talking about. Look at the similarities within the sets of numbers to give you some clues on how you want to play with the reversals. Okay. Let's see. Hang on. I saw, it was Angelic Michelle, the 2 of Cups reversed. Yeah. So the 2 of Cups, for me, is about partnership. And while it is the card of perfect partnership and perfect love, I've pulled this card for couples that broke up 2 weeks later. So, you know, I don't necessarily think, you know, there's permanence and perfection. But it is a card of partnership, and it can be a card of love, a love partnership. I'm just looking for it now. And because of the caduceus that's on it, I see it as the healing power of love, which is kind of nice. I also see it as a card of self-esteem. Here we go. I also see it as a card of self-esteem. So when we turn it upside down, it could be a relationship that isn't working. It could be healing that is needed that has not been found. It could be you need to find the right doctor, the right partner in healing for you. It could be you're looking for a business partner, a business investor. It could be any kind of partnership that's having a problem. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to see it as a problem with a love relationship. Oh, good, Justine. So a class in context, that's really good. That's good. Okay, so, oh, Peggy Lou, thank you. Thank you. All right, so we are in our last 6 minutes. And there were a couple of questions, or at least one question at the beginning from a member. And I'd like to kind of play with the cards a little and just see different ways that this could work. So for Christina, if we are answering questions, which we are in this one moment, how soon will I be traveling? Okay, we're just going to push all of these cards to the side here. And we'll pick up a different deck because that's going to be quicker than putting all of those back together. Okay, this is Shadowscapes. Okay, so Notice that Christina did a how soon will I? And when that happens, the first thing I'm going to want to look at is, well, will you? You know, because there's an assumption there. And remember, tarot is with anything else, nonsense in, nonsense out. We want to make sure that she will indeed be traveling. We don't want to insult her. But let's, you know, so if I were reading for someone, I would do it in a nice way. I wouldn't be like, I don't trust that you're really going to travel. You know, I wouldn't be like that. But we'd just say, well, first of all, what can we know in general about you traveling? 10 of Cups. It might be a trip to see friends or family, and the Tower reversed, but there's some issues with it too. Now notice we have this reversal. What if this wasn't reversed? I would say, what can I know about this trip? It feels like it's about a family difficulty, and it feels hard, you know, or that there would be a difficulty associated with this. Here, it's not as difficult. So I do think the trip's going to happen. I do think that it may involve something nice, but there's some difficulty associated with it. Okay, so now we know that about the trip, and she wants to know how soon. When will it happen? The World. So, I mean, my answer to that's going to be, it could be any time, unpredictable. But let's try to go further. Oh, but what if the world what if the world were reversed? So here, unpredictable times, some things have to come together to make it happen, but they will come together and it will happen and it will be good. If it were like this, there's a lot that has to come together to make it happen, and it's going to take a while. So this would make it take longer for me. Let's do a same question if we can get more information about how soon, when. Judgment reversed, man. See, same thing. There's some things that have to come together first. That's it. All right. So we are in our final 3 minutes. I want to thank you so much for coming out to play with me tonight. Really, really appreciate it. I want to thank you. I know we didn't get to everyone's questions or requests. I'm so sorry, but I do these fairly frequently, and this is why. What's your takeaway? Your takeaway is the cards exist on a spectrum. You will read different meanings for different cards all the time. Reversals are a good way to let you know that you do not want to read your most direct meaning. You're going to put it in the past or in the future. You like it, you don't like it, you need it, you're avoiding it. It's the opposite. It's intense. And how you're going to figure out what that is going to be based on the context of the question, your intuition, and the other cards. When interpreting a reversal, think about what it means to you upright first, and then think about what this particular reversal in this particular reading means to you. Now, earlier we were talking about flipping a card for magic. Let's go back and I'm just going to show that to you. Okay, and you can do this in a reading at any time. Suppose this comes up in a reading and you don't want this. Say, I'm going to mitigate that energy, right? But suppose, you know, same thing here. This comes up in a reading. Just turn it and say, let's welcome healing. And I will say to my client, if I think my client can do this, I'll say, let's just take a minute and breathe with me. And we're going to welcome healing energy to this. There we are. But you also might do it the other way, where suppose, well, no, this, okay, yeah. Suppose, okay, I'll do 2 more. The card comes up like this, and we want more opportunities. Let's create some opportunities. The card comes up like this. Bad luck. Let's bring some better luck, right? So you can do that any time. That is the quote from Rachel Pollack, the late, great Rachel Pollack. Reversing a card is a magical act. My friends, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow at noon for your newsletter recap. I want to thank you so much. I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, so Gianna, I'm flipping it in the direction I'd rather it be, not to interpret it, but for the magic of it, to bring the energy. I'm not changing the interpretation. I'm changing what happens next. There it is. There it is. Okay. My friends, thank you so much. Special shout out to the members, the moderators, people who helped out with super chats and super stickers. I really appreciate all of you. Thanks so much. Take care. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.